I don't even know how to begin this one. Just know a girl gets eaten by a piano. Okay. Welcome back! Some exciting news. Remember a few episodes back when I said we're finally getting an adaptation of one of my favorite books of all time, A Head Full of Ghosts? Well, a new development. Fiona Dourif is joining the cast. Oh my god, I could not be more excited. Her work in the Chucky series and in The Pit especially is just phenomenal. I cannot wait to see if she's playing the adult version of one of the girls. I'm just excited to see her place in this story. It's the best news I got all week besides the fact that we are getting a Leslie Vernon sequel, Behind the Mask 2. If you guys are a fan of the first one, I certainly was. I would be curious to see where the story continues to. We actually just spent the whole weekend watching the Coachella live stream. We call it Couchella. But let me tell you, Nine Inch Nails was a true highlight. Nine Inch Nails is one of my most favorite bands of all time. And to see Trent Reznor play live with his partner and have these incredible songs be reworked and performed in such a cool way, it blew my mind. Year Zero by Nine Inch Nails is in my top 5 favorite albums of all time. So I was so happy that we got to hear Vessel, Warning, and my personal favorite, Me, I'm Not. It was such a treat to see live, and the live show was incredible. So, today's movie is Haus or Hausu from 1977. This movie is a treat, a visual treat, honestly. And even if you don't 100% get the storyline, the visuals alone are just a feast for the eyes. So let's dive into it. But first, if you haven't already, go ahead and give the Get Weird podcast a 5-star rating, a comment, or a like, whatever, wherever, whatever Shakira said. You know, it means a lot, guys. Directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi, hoping to find a sense of connection to her late mother, Gorgeous takes a trip with her friends to her aunt's ancestral house in the countryside. The girls soon discover that there is more to the old house than meets the eye, and if you've seen this and remember the watermelon, there is definitely more than meets the eye, pun intended. With this movie, we get themes of grief, abandonment, and post-war trauma. I feel like you wouldn't just get that off of the bat from all the visuals that you would see, but it's the aunt waiting for her fiancé who never returned from World War II, sprinkled throughout the fever dream. Obayashi was known for his experimental commercials before this, and I am really happy he got a chance to showcase his style in this way. And funny enough, the ideas came from his young daughter, who suggested the weirdest things she could think of, like a piano eating somebody. He literally built the film around a child's nightmare. So let's get into a small breakdown, and then we'll chat more about the weirdness of this film. Haus follows a group of schoolgirls who travel to the countryside to stay at Gorgeous's aunt's eerie, seemingly abandoned house. Quickly spirals into full-blown psychedelic horror. The house itself is basically alive, possessed by the aunt's vengeful spirit, and it begins picking the girls off one by one in more bizarre and creative ways each time.
Okay, in my recording, this is editing Ashley here. In my recording of this, I totally forgot to mention Blanche, who is the best character of this movie. It is the cat, the white cat that follows the girls throughout the movie. It shows up in like different forms throughout the movie, animated, real life. Like it's a really cool character. So don't sleep on Blanche. That was my mistake for missing my girl.
The tone constantly shifts between goofy and dreamlike to genuinely unsettling, with the wild visual effects that make it feel more like a nightmare than a traditional horror film. Themes sneak under the insanity too, like I mentioned, the abandonment, grief, and post-war trauma, with the aunt waiting for her fiancé who never returned from war, and the house itself is a metaphor for unresolved trauma and bitterness. So if you've seen this, you know the girls have some funky names. So let's talk about it. The main girl, she is obsessed with beauty and her father. She doesn't die traditionally. She becomes possessed by the aunt and essentially just joins the house as evil. We get Prof, the professor, the brainy one with the glasses. She's electrocuted by a lamp while trying to analyze what's happening. Classic logic fails in nightmare world moment. We get Melody, the musician, who gets eaten alive by the piano, hands first. It's iconic. It's so genuinely disturbing. We get Mac, the food-loving, cheerful one, decapitated by the house. Her severed head later comes back to bite one of the other girls in the butt. And I'm being serious, okay? We also have Kung Fu, the athletic one. She fights the house. She literally kicks it, but eventually is consumed by supernatural flames and goes out like a badass. There's also Fantasy, the dreamer, who gets pulled into a mattress and suffocated, like being swallowed by the house itself. And then finally, we get Banana. The innocent, childlike one turns into a ghostly figure after being attacked, basically absorbed into the house's supernatural force. I don't know about you guys, if you watch Drag Race, whenever I hear Banana now, all I think about is Darlene Mitchell, you know, Banana. I love that this movie is not afraid to be self-referential. The names coincide with exactly what happens to the girls. I think it's hilarious. It gives Lily Blossom Bloom from It Ends With Us. And no, I have not seen that. I am not a Colleen Hoover girly, but I am here for the drama. So I've been watching that trash fire unfold, but I digress. We see lots of handmade lo-fi effects, matte paintings, animation, a lot of compositing, which gives the film a surreal, almost handmade feel, which is something I really appreciate. And this movie was released the same year as Star Wars in Japan, and it outperformed that initially. It's wild to me that this movie it just feels like a labor of love, beat out Star Wars. Sorry, George Lucas, step aside. Your ass is going to the piano next. What makes House so special is that it doesn't follow horror rules. It feels like a child's imagination gone wrong, almost like a haunted Looney Tunes episode or a full-on experimental art film disguised as horror. It's funny, it's creepy, but it's also visually unhinged, which is why it's so talked about to this day. House isn't just weird psychedelia fever dream. It's a story about grief that never got to heal. Beneath all of the floating heads, the man-eating pianos, there's something genuinely sad that lives inside that house, and maybe that's why it sticks with you, because once you step inside, it really doesn't let you leave. House is what happens when you give a child full creative control, zero rules, and a budget, and you know what? It works. You got a piano eating a girl, severed heads biting butts, and a house that wants you to know it's the villain. It's ridiculous, but it's somehow kind of heartbreaking at the same time. So just remember, if a house ever invites you in, maybe don't go. Because in House, you don't survive it, you become part of it. I almost feel like it's the same for the house on Neibolt Street from Pennywise, that whole story. I feel like I'm getting the same vibes from the house being an integral part of the story. But in saying all of that, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening this week. And thank you so very much for being weird. I will talk to you in the next episode. Sayonara, suckers.